just take it light. Start with a light book. Do not expect a lot from yourself. Give yourself 10 pages, 15 pages. And when you are okay reading 15 pages, then increase 5 pages, 20 pages, 25 pages. And that's how you read.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for this amazing discussion. Welcome back to Bookversations, a new playlist that I've started where I talk about books. I'm Alina, your host for the day, and today we have a very special guest joining us on the panel. She is not only an influencer, she is an inspiration for me in so many ways that you'll get to know today. So first of all, thank you so much, Prerika, for joining us today. It's a pleasure and an honor to be talking to you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a total pleasure, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. I'm very excited about it.
I'm super excited to talk to you as well. And guys, before we move forward, I would just like to give you a brief introduction of who Prerika is and why I was so excited to talk to her. So Prerika is a travel influencer and she travels to all of these amazing places that you can see on her Instagram. She has a very aesthetic feed and you should definitely follow her. And she's recently been to Goa, and wow, it was such a delight watching her stories, watching her feed, watching her visit all of these beautiful places. But she's not only a travel influencer, she's a lot more than that. She reads books actively and she also has a page called Emotional Fool where she posts about all the things she reads. And she also has a thrift page on Instagram. So all in all, she's an inspiration for me. I don't know how she manages all of this along with a full-time job. So thank you so much, Prerika, for joining me and for this discussion, for being an inspiration for me in so many ways. And like one more thing I wanted to know, what would your tips be to people who have just started reading? So we have a lot of teenagers out there. We see a lot of people who are in the phase of, starting reading. And I get a lot of these questions from people as well. Bhai, how should I start reading? And what would you recommend me if I'm starting? So you've recommended a good book in Hindi by Sharat Chand, right? And
yeah. I mean, any book by Sharat Chand, start with it or start with short stories.
Yeah,
I will say Duniya Samanansan is a great book to start with. Like I started with it. So I think start with short stories. And if you want to read a novel, any novel by Sharat Chand, because he wrote Devdas. We all love Devdas, right?
So I did not know he wrote Devdas. I'm definitely going to pick it now. Because see, this is a connection that I look for when I look for books, that if I find a connection, I'm going to read it. Which is why I picked Matthew Perry's novel, which I guess is kept here only. Yeah. So I picked this book because I could connect with Chandler Bing from Friends.
And I Friends.
Yes. So I never read autobiographies, memoirs, and things like that. I don't read non-fiction for that matter. I've picked a lot of books, but then I left them midway, and because at some point in time you lose interest. This was the first book I managed to finish because I could connect with the writer, because I knew that that this is the person. I've seen them on.
Sharat Chands are fictional because, of course, Devdas is fictional, but it seems real because it's so many things have been made, and he's like one of the best Bengalis. He was the best Bengali writer. So that's there. Coming back to your question, what advice I'll give to the readers? It's one question that comes to me every now and then. Like even my friends ask, because they have lost the habit of reading. Like, how do you do it? I think there is no one method, because I don't know like what your day look like, but I would just suggest committing to 20 pages a day, 30 pages a day, starting small, picking a light book. You don't need to just pick a Dostoevsky, if you don't have time, because that needs a lot of your space.
Commitment, basically.
A lot of space of your life. When you will finish reading him, then also you will be like 2-3 दिन तो उसी में निकल जाएगा. So it's like that. So you need to pick light books, and by light I don't mean less number of books. I mean the books that have been written in a very easy language, and you don't need to don't read to become cool in front of people, or don't think reading as a very nerdy habit. that's I think a lot of people do. Yeah, पढ़ने वाले तो सारे ऐसे. No, I think it's a very good habit that you can inculcate for yourself. So first of all, read it, because whenever you start any habit, you are going to fail like in the first week. That's
for sure.
Like if you're starting yoga, you will get tired after 2 days, or you will get after a week. You have to push yourself. So for 20 or 21 days, you will not going to enjoy that habit. So just make it like a more of a task. कि मेरे को पढ़ना ही है, मेरे को मजा आए तब भी पढ़ना है, मेरे को नहीं आए तब भी पढ़ना है. And after a while, when you find that right book, and you will find a right book after reading a few books, then you will know what kind of genre you like. So like I love suspense and thriller. Okay, so in my earlier days, I used to read a lot of suspense thriller, because that's the only book I like, and I never paid a heed to people like कि बाकी लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है, I will go, and वो journey फिर आपका अपने आप से बनता जाएगा. Like I did not used to read non-fiction, but I started reading. मेरे को एक दो non-fiction अच्छी book मिली, मुझे कई चीजों के बारे में पता चला. Then I was like, no, like this is something I can become more knowledgeable. I'm going to read it. So there will come a time. So just take it light. Start with a light book. Do not expect a lot from yourself. Give yourself 10 pages, 15 pages. And when you are okay reading 15 pages, then increase 5 pages, 20 pages, 25 pages. And that's how you read. And if you're not enjoying the book, you don't have to, drag yourself like कि बस पढ़ना ही है. Leave it, abandon it. कोई crime थोड़ी ना है यार कि यार ये बुक तो सबको अच्छी लगी है, मुझे नहीं पसंद आएगी. So I recently read Man's Search for Meaning, which I think everybody liked. I did not like that. And though I finished it because it was like a very छोटू book, I was okay. I was like, yeah, मेरे को first of all I was like asking myself, मेरे को क्यों नहीं पसंद आई? तो सबको आती है. Did I miss something? And I was like, why are you beating yourself around it? Like, you did not like it. You are a reader. You are okay. You should be okay having your own view. So नहीं पसंद आ रहा, बीच में छोड़. I read the Harper Lee की To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. It's a classic book. Everybody likes it. First I read it, I did not understand a word. I think 30 पेज पढ़ के मैंने छोड़ दिया था. But after 4 years, 5 years, I again picked the book. I read it, I liked it, because my reading habit grew, my understanding level increased, I was more comfortable with the language. So, a lot of things happen. So just abandon the book, pick any other book.
Yeah.
Read an article if you like. Yeah. So reading is not like that you have to read a novel. You can read an article, you can read newspaper, it could be anything. So just start with whatever you have. Don't invest a lot in books, like just don't buy books. Go to a friend and ask them to lend to you, so that you can develop a habit. Then you can buy as many books as you want. So like that's a few habits that I will suggest.
That was really interesting. And I think that I totally agree with your points with, picking up a book, and if you're not liking it, just leave it. Pick something else that you like reading. And I do that so many times that I don't even remember the number of books I've left now. मेरे रैक में there are maximum books that I've left after reading a few pages, and जो खत्म करी है वो बहुत ही कम है.
So that is what I'm telling. Like, you don't need to feel guilty of abandoning a book. Like, you can always pick it up. Sometimes you don't have the mood. Sometimes you don't understand the language. Sometimes you're not just ready for it. So it's okay. Earlier, like, I used to feel very guilty of like abandoning books, because I used to think like if you pick a book, I'm a very like that. If you have started something, you have to finish it.
Yes.
But then I realized, no, you don't have to do it. Reading should be, a leisure activity. It should not be something that, it shouldn't be a task. Nothing in life should be a task. I feel when it becomes a task, it just feels very overwhelming, and it feels a lot for you. So it's okay. So I think abandoning is okay. You can always pick it up. It's okay.
Yeah. So a few things that I always recommend people whenever they come to me for advice कि मैं पढ़ना कैसे शुरू करूँ. So a few things is that, one, make a routine that you have to read a few pages, even a paragraph, before going to bed. Yeah. And second is that pick a book that has very short chapters. It does not have to be like, so there are books that very long chapters, 30 pages, 20 pages. Even I get tired of, finishing that chapter. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's very tiring. So just if you're starting to read, just either pick a short story book or pick a book that has very short chapters. It finishes in a page or two, so that you get that feeling of accomplishment. कि भाई मैंने इतना पढ़ा और अब मैं आगे पढ़ सकता हूँ. And thirdly is read at least one page every day. Be consistent with what you're reading. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to finish the same book, but read every day. That's important. Like read for like 20-30 days. I think there's this rule that if you continue doing something for 21 days, it will become a habit, right? So read for 21 days consistently and then you'll see that it will become a habit. You'll see it, you'll imbibe that thing in your life. So these are a few things that I always recommend.